Hello, people watching videos that have to do with cars on the internet. Welcome to this. My 1991 Toyota MR2 Turbo, aka Mr. Dose. If you're new here because you accidentally got lost on the internet and now are regretting your current life choices, the last video where I worked on this car, which started out as a $2,600 non-running pile of Toyota parts, I upgraded the suspension with a set of yellow body Bilstein dampers. And today's mission is staying on theme with this OEM Plus Resto mod of my 91 MR2 with some rare parts from Japan. One of these boxes is not like the other. And two of these parts actually took me over a year just to find. Another one from Japan. I have not opened any of this stuff yet. Genuine Toyota part, Japanese newspaper. For those of you that don't know MR2s, and to make this all make sense, on the screen I'm currently displaying the brake specifications for an SW20 USCC MR2, which that chassis is. And next to it I'm going to show the SW20 MR2 Turbo. Front calipers, which I sourced for it, are new old stock. They've never been on a vehicle before, and you can see there is a massive difference between the two brakes, obviously because this is a 2-piston caliper versus a 1-piston caliper. I can just let it hang from the line because I'm replacing them. Pretty sure these are warped too. Should have did this outside, but it is what it is. This stuff right here is some fallout remover. As much as I'd love to throw some new hubs on here, I have a budget, so I have to clean these up. I'm making a mess on my floor. There, a little rust is gone. It's a little stained, but the rust is gone. Now just FYI, none of the parts in this video are sponsored. I chose them the same as you choose a beverage to go with the right food. These are not sold in the USA, so shout out to Etsu Ryu for helping me source these and ship them to the US. Japanese newspaper. So these are coated, treated, and they are a slotted rotor, which I don't like drilled because they crack. So on the left is the USDM SW20 Zenki front rotor, and on the right is the JDM Turbo front rotor. You can see it is larger diameter, but what's more important is the thickness of the rotor. There's a massive difference in the overall thickness. Well, I don't have to read Japanese to understand that. Easy enough. Right hand side. Orientation should be like that. Also worth noting, people think that the slots usually dictate the rotational direction, but it's actually the vanes inside the rotor that do. Now obviously I'm gonna have to trim the dust shield, but I wanna see by how much. Are you kidding me? It clears the non-turbo dust shield. Literally just barely. That's literally the only tight spot. I'm so happy it clears the top though. I didn't expect that. That's great. Literally just a couple millimeters off the bottom. And it's already bent, so that's probably why. As far as the brake pads go, again, these are not sponsored. I chose them from Japan due to their, I don't want to say flavor. I don't even think robots eat brake pads. That's going too far. My OG JDM car fans right now know what's up. Type HGCS Hypercarbon Circuit Spec Project Mu pads. Made in Japan. Ugh! I just saw a spider. There it is. No! No! You gotta go outside. Come on, just go on the paper. There you go. No, come on. There you go. Go on the paper, go outside. There is a crow playing soccer with an acorn on the roof right now. Anyway, the rear calipers, what I have here is a set of 22V JDM rear calipers. Now in the United States, we only got the 22V calipers on the 93 and up MR2 Turbo. Fallout cleaner is only capable of doing so much. It's not a magic juice. I don't know, these are really bad. My front ones are perfect zinc. I was not expecting these to be as crusty. They looked a lot cleaner in the pictures. There's no zinc coating left on this, if there even ever was. I think it was maybe painted or like a gray coating from the factory. This one's even worse. The downfall of sourcing your parts from an island in the middle of the ocean, which is full of salt water. The parking brake assembly, I believe, is the same on all the MR2s, and mine are perfect. So does this come off? Oh, that looks like a fucking swell time. And go. We'll see see if this actually works. When you can't buy new ones, rebuild them. I don't really need to mask much off since I'm just gonna rebuild it. All this rubber is getting replaced. So here's my dilemma. My new calipers are coated in silver, blue, zinc. You can see there's like a slight blue-green kind of side cast to the silver. Now I have a genuine Toyota caliper rebuild kit for these rears, but I would need to sandblast these to re-zinc them to match the fronts. The problem is, there's a high likelihood these could get damaged in the process of sandblasting them. I'm saying this from a place of experience because I have had stuff ruined at the sandblaster before, and trying to get another set of these, they're so hard to find and they were really expensive. This caliper paint I'm using is in the shade of aluminium, and it does have that kind of zinky flop to it. The greatest part about doing this is it doesn't cost a lot, and I can see if it's actually going to be something I'll like. I'm just really nervous about getting these things sandblasted and then ruining a set of really hard to find calipers. While there are various different products on the market that I could utilize to paint or coat these calipers, there's no getting around the fact that the correct way to do it would be to first sandblast these to have a clean surface for it to adhere to. With that said, this is the exact same product and process I did to my old calipers, and it's held up just fine since 2017. Bake cycle, 1 hour. I don't want this stuff everywhere because it gets really messy really quick. And I don't need a lot. Smear. There we go. A little bit of copper paste on the pots. The color combo with that silver with the Project Mu teal. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, what did I do with the bolts? Damn it. In the world of car modifications on YouTube's, where everyone slaps a 20 piston caliper with a 900mm carbon ceramic titanium spatial part rotor on their vehicle, a set of 2 piston genuine Toyota calipers is not really much to get hyped up about, but it is. And I'm trying to normalize that. Because more often than not, a parts bin big brake kit utilizing factory parts, upgraded pads, fluids, and lines is more braking performance than you're ever going to need, even on a racetrack. Today's video is sponsored by Decorative Cotton Tit Covers. Hey, at least I'm not trying to sell you some magic ball cream. And for a limited time while supplies last, you can cover your tits with that car too. Well, I got good news. The calipers are pretty damn close to matching the front. Like, you're not gonna be able to tell unless you have an art degree. The difference is so incredibly minor, and the fact that these are like 9 feet apart from each other, I'd say that's good. Time to drain your blood. That sounds so that's gross. I wonder what color Penguin's bloods are. His is white fluffies. Oh, don't hit your head. That kind of sucked. Oh. Pretty easy when I can just spin the entire brake caliper. No, stop making mess. Perfect. The next part of this equation, and arguably the part that you will notice the most from the driver's seat, is upgrading the lines. Also, period correct and sourced from Japan. For those of you that aren't into 90s Japanese cars, some of the old school folk, this is like the equivalent of throwing some Kreggers on your muscle car, like a Weber 4-barrel carburetor. It's the same kind of flavor, part-wise, I think. Staples are sharp. I am dumb. The build quality on this stuff is phenomenal. Just absolutely top shelf. Oh good, it stopped dripping. This is automotive eye candy. Flat side goes this way. I love that it came with this style clip. Damn it. Yo! You haven't really lived until you got one of those at Mach 30 into your forehead. This is almost therapeutic and relaxing in contrast to the wiring I've been doing on that thing for the past month. This is so weird. This car had EBC green stuff pads in the rear, but factory Toyota ones in the front. It even has the little old school Toyota logo on them. I didn't even know they used that in the 90s. 16V. Don't be a particular individual. Oh man, my hardware is so much cleaner on the MR2 than the brakes I bought. Ouch. Luckily the pads are interchangeable between the 22V and the 16V caliper. So these little clips are reusable. It's another day, and I got my cylinder disc kit. So it's called. Hopefully this is for 2. One thing I cannot stress enough, regardless of what make of car you have, if you're gonna rebuild the calipers on it, get the kit from the vehicle manufacturer, not an aftermarket one. And also, look at this lube. It looks like liquefied Kirby. Some will argue I should have did this before I painted the caliper, but I argue the fact that I didn't have to mask it, so that made it easier. To rebuild these calipers, I'm using what is known as the BGB, Big Green Book. This is volume 2. And the chapter on brake calipers shows how to fully rebuild one of these. It's got my illustrated part breakdown showing how it all goes together. Even though I baked this paint out in the sun for 2 hours, I'm gonna give it some extra protection. All right, so this guy, you can see the little lip right there. Aha! Clean out the socket. I can see why they had to tell people not to eat this stuff. Looks like it would be watermelon flavored, but it will make your stomach bleed. The other side, the sleeve just pulls right out. It looks like a thing. There you go. I don't even know why I'm replacing these. They're literally perfect still. Now this lube, it's like the ectoplasm in Ghostbusters that was under the city. I didn't like music.
This is what you do with your spare time.
Or did it like music? It's a philosophical question. This is not an easy process. You really have to free all that rubber out of the groove before you can even get to that snap ring. You can definitely tell whatever these brakes came off of have been sitting for a while. Ta-da! Yes, I know painting this first was stupid. I don't need to hear it. Got it! Oh, that's packed full of paper towel. Put the new seal in there. Clean up the pot. I'm actually using a little bit of soft 3000 grit. It's an Asolaks pad. It's weird, the brake cleaner won't even take this stuff off, but it just wipes right off. There you go, all cleaned up, ready to go back in. Snap ring pliers. The lazier version of me is screaming at myself right now not to dig down even deeper and replace the O-ring for the parking brake. But if I'm gonna go this far, might as well go all the way. Got it. Is there another snap ring? Oh no. Success! I got it out. Need to replace it. Will it rotate? I think it will. With a quick touch up of paint, you can't even tell. The ring goes like that. Yeah. So, rebuilding this rear 22V caliper only took me 6 hours and 45 minutes to do. It's completely worth it and quick and easy. This heavy box. Brow cheated rear rotors. Regardless of what style caliper you have on the MR2, the 16 or the 22, the pads are all the same. Smear it. For the power level of this car, once it's finally tuned, which will be somewhere between 300 and 360 wheel horsepower, depending on what blend of 91 octane and 85 it has, this braking setup will be more than adequate. Put the Kirby splooge on there. If you're gonna have period correct parts, you gotta have some period correct music to go along with it. After cleaning up the rear axle flanges, they looked a little worse in the front hubs, so just giving them a light dusting to help with corrosion back here, even though I live in a desert. It's the following day, and custom fabrication may be required. Because I have these yellow body Beetlesteins, the little hole that the brake line must sit in is just slightly too small for the fitting. Just like 0.5 millimeter. Here goes nothing. Almost. Almost. That's literally gonna take forever. So I'm gonna use a finger sander. Stupid. Aha! That only took a half hour and I gotta do it 3 more times. Sweet. The factory hardware is copper, so it cleaned up rather nicely. New washers. I don't know who's at fault in this shape equation. The engineer of this shape or the engineer of this shape or the chef that combined the ingredients on this car together. I'm getting really hungry if you haven't been able to tell. That's kind of fun to say, shape equation. Got it, that'll fit. This is a game of sticking the weird peg in the weird hole. Perfect. That's a tight fit too, so it's not going to be sloppy. Some of you may or may not have caught on to the fact that my color scheme with the braking and the suspension kind of goes hand in hand with the Recaro confetti seats inside the car. That was intentional. Why is that bolt green? I didn't paint that green. I'm gonna keep that bolt. This factory bracket, oh, the bolt matches kind of-ish. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. It'd be way easier to take that line off with that attached. These get their own little custom bracket, which is a weight reduction. You want to look at it in that sense. Take this old bleed screw cap off. In fact, I'm gonna replace the bleed screw because I got new ones. Brand new cap. Now, because this started life as an SW21 chassis, non-ABS, it came with a 7/8 master cylinder, which is 22 millimeter, I think. A 7/8 wrench is a 22 mil. Very close. A turbo model MR2s had a 15/16 master cylinder. And while I could have easily picked up an aftermarket reman master cylinder for this thing, I wanted a genuine Aijin one from Toyota. Last night, out of dumb luck, after months of looking, I found a mint condition master cylinder and brake booster out of a JDM Revision 4 MR2. And it's genuine Aijin Toyota part. So I ordered it. It obviously isn't in time for this video, but that will finish off the perfect brake setup for the MR2 once that gets here, and that'll bleed the brakes. This is only going to appeal to a certain demographic of people, but the fact that I got brand new old stock turbo calipers on here behind a Rega Master with these Project New pads and lines. Oh, there's a lug nut there. Why did I do that? It smells like barbecued chicken right now. I don't know why. So now that I've essentially rendered this thing inoperable since it doesn't have any brake fluid in it and I gotta wait for that master cylinder, I will get back to work on the Celica because I know a lot of you really wanted me to keep working on it and not take a break for the MR2. But that just means when the parts get here, it might get done in the middle of one of the Celica videos because I can't leave this car inoperable. It's impossible for me to knock that out off camera because I don't have an off camera. You watch every single day of my life and I work for like 10 hours a day. So there's that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!